So in this lesson, we're going to be doing lesson 36 and lesson 37, starting on page 164. Three different sections to lesson 36. Each section will take a very, very brief period of time. So contrived problems, multiplication of rational expressions, and the division of rational expressions. So Timmy and Andrew, you're already knowing me. Contrived problems. Pretty much going to just kind of skip right through that and jump into multiplication of rational expressions. As I look at contrived problems, basically they're just saying, we're going to make up problems that work a certain way just so you can have practice. Next section. Okay. Multiplication of rational expressions. When you multiply fractions, what do you multiply? Numerators?
Well, numerators to numerators and denominators to.
Unless, of course, there's an equal sign between fractions. Then what do you do? Then you cross multiply, right? Yeah. Okay, so what they start out with is some contrived problems, like x squared plus x minus 12. They put that over x squared minus x minus 20, and they multiply that times the fraction x squared plus 2x minus 35 all over x squared plus 9x plus 14. It takes you longer to write out the problem than it does to solve the problem. So when you're given a problem like that, you got a couple different methods you can use in order to solve that. You can multiply the two trinomials, x squared plus x minus 12 minus x squared plus 2x minus 35, but that does not sound like very much fun. It's kind of like doing the FOIL method on steroids. Okay? Don't want to do that. So, again, the most common F word in algebra is what? Everybody answered stuff when I say that. Is what?
Factor.
Factor. Thank you. That was close, that.
Fraction's
close.
pretty.
It is. It is. Factor. That should always be the first thing that comes to mind when you're given a complicated problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to factor each one of those trinomials and see if we can cancel. So, why don't Erica and Rochelle, you factor the top number. This row here, factor the bottom number. Caleb and Adam, you guys factor this. And the wall people, you guys factor this denominator here, and we'll do it in one fell swoop and get an answer and go from there. Okay. Numerator, right here.
-3 and plus 4.
Okay, down here.
Minus 5 plus 4.
Up here.
X plus 7, x minus 5.
Okay.
X plus 7, x plus 2.
Okay. Those look right?
Yeah.
Now we start doing is canceling.
That's pretty.
And our answer is x minus 3 over x plus 2.
I like that.
Hi, Madison.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Buck. So the only difference between the multiplication and the division is the second term flips upside down, and then you factor it and cancel.
Yes.
Okay. Which is the end of that particular lesson. I would like to try one more because the one I'm going to look at has a little bit of a glitch for me. Did you get a note, Tommy?
No, but I'm going to.
Okay. And let's divide that.
That's the end of that lesson.
This is the last problem for this particular lesson, yes. Okay. So here we go. First thing that we do to that is what?
Write it down.
Write it down. So for this one, first thing you're going to do, first step, is what? Flop. Okay, I kind of like that, Zach.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to rewrite this first term here. Times x squared minus 7x over. Okay, so we did the flop. Next step. What do you want to do for the next step? Factor. Okay, so flop, factor. So let's factor this thing. First term. Or I'm sorry, the first trinomial is going to be what?
X minus 2, x plus 3.
Minus 2 plus 3. Is that right? The middle term has to have the sign of the biggest number, which it does. Okay. Can we factor this? Do you know how to factor x cubes? Do you? Okay, easiest thing would be to start out like this. Okay, and then factor that down. So we leave that x there, but it can factor into two binomials. X and x. What are we going to do with the x's?
Go cut them down.
Okay,
Saying, and they were putting in that salt.
factoring
They
this
put in there.
into what?
Minus 5.
Okay, we got a 7 and a 5. You said minus. Okay, so we can use that instead of this. In fact, let's erase what we don't need. All right, what are we going to do with this?
You were talking to him. I was talking to the
Take an X.
Take an x out, and we're left with. And on the bottom,
Or is it x parentheses 1 plus 3? Let's
No.
leave it.
the x plus 3, or the better would be to put parentheses on there so that when you cancel it, you cancel the whole thing instead of part of it. And then we just go through. And leaves us with x minus 2 over x plus 5.